Welcome to the Life Career Roadmap, episode number 7. Today, my special guest is Leyla Berns. Leyla, welcome to the Life Career YouTube channel.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Excited.
Me too. So, Leyla, I'd like to introduce you. However, I believe you have a very rich story that you can tell us where you come from and your journey coming to Australia. So let's start first is, where are you from, Leyla?
Okay, right. I'm from Brazil,
Mhm.
now Santa Catarina, to be more specific.
Which part of Brazil?
It's southern Brazil. It's
Mhm.
a very beautiful city, I would say safe and full of opportunities as well. Usually, it's a little bit different from what people know about Brazil when they look on Google, for example, and they try to find, oh, where is Blumenau? I think because it was colonized by Germans.
Mhm.
A lot of things very German, I would say. For example,
Uh-huh.
if I'm not wrong, we have the second largest Oktoberfest in the world.
Ah, that's important to know.
They love shop, they love beer. We have a very specific culture there. And we are known, I would say, for a very we work hard. People from Brazil usually is known as a very work hard people. We have a lot of industries. We have it's a very beautiful place and very safe. I would say it's quite similar to Perth. Uh,
Mhm.
I can tell. We can talk about this later, maybe.
Yeah.
Uh, is quite similar, I would say, in some of the aspects. And we love Blumenau. It was the only place that I lived before coming here. So I love my city. But I came here because I wanted something different, not because I wasn't happy with the city, with the place, with the work that I was doing. I just wanted to discover these new things. I wanted to learn English. So we took the opportunity to move to get to know another country. But the plan was coming back in like 1 or maybe 2 years.
Leyla, let's go back to the point when you said about migration. So you were curious to know other places, but why Australia and why Perth?
Yeah,
Just because it's similar to Blumenau?
yeah, but I didn't know that actually. I just
Okay.
realized it was similar after coming here. So the plan initially was to go to Canada because
Mhm.
it was close to our house, like our country, easy to
Travel.
travel. Yes. But then my cousin said, just come here first before you decide where do you want to go to have this experience. Just come here to have a look and then you decide. Because we spent like 20 days in Canada to
Mhm.
my friend to see how it was there. And we were very like happy to go there to have the experience because we love cold as long as we have the appropriate.
Buckets.
So we were happy to go there. And then he said, no, just come here. And then we spent here like 1 week and we just fell in love because it's amazing and beautiful. And the weather is quite similar as well. And I had my cousin here. So this is also something that made us to decide to come to Perth. And then we had also an experience in New Zealand. We stayed there for 4 weeks to do like a trial
Yes.
to see how it was going to be. And we also love it. So we decided to come to Australia and it was going to be like for 1 or 2 years. So
Mhm.
choose. And then we start to enjoy the people and the habits, I would say, because in Brazil, usually people go, for example, to have a dinner. They usually go like 8 p.m. or sometimes 9, 10 p.m. And me and Adriano, usually we were there like 6 p.m. waiting for the restaurants to open.
Yes. It's not
And
something that in Brazil you get at a restaurant opening at 6 p.m., right? It's like no one is there.
usually 6:30, sometimes they open 7. So this
Yeah.
is something that happens here. Like 6:30 is the
Peak. Yeah.
yeah, the peak. So we like that.
So what is your professional background back home?
Great. I am a HR professional. I
Mhm.
have around 20 years of experience.
Mm.
I have a bachelor in HR and 2 post graduations, one in business management and another one in adult learning and
Mhm.
teaching higher education. So I started my own business, my recruitment boutique, when I was 23, 24 years old. And I run my business for 16 years.
Mhm.
Undergraduate teacher as well for like 7 years. So
Mhm.
HR is my life and is what I know, is what I like to do. So I worked mostly with white collar recruitment and
Mhm.
leadership development. We also had um, kind of support to the professionals, helping them to get a job, helping them to keep their jobs. So we work with resumes and interviews and career plans in Brazil. And as I was telling you, I have just sold my business.
Tell,
So
tell us more about the business. So you spent 16 years with this business. How many employees did you have, or how many people were working with you? Affiliated employees? Tell us a little bit more.
a few people working with me, from no one, just only me, depending on the phase of the company, until up to 10. 10 was the maximum that I had with me in my team. So we usually do most recruitment, but we do also leadership development.
Mhm.
Into Australia, this was a very important thing in my life at that point, because I didn't know how it was going to be. So I came to Australia to see. So we did a trial for 1 month and it was like really good. And then we came back to Australia and I agreed with my team at that point that I needed at least 6 months to focus in English, to focus in Australia, because I was planning to go back in 1 or maybe 2 years. So I wanted to get the most of this experience. And it was also a great experience. And so the business were like doing very, very good, I would say. And then after COVID, as I said, everything changed. And also the possibility of running my own company from here wasn't so weird after COVID, because everyone was working from home. So it was a good opportunity for me as
Acceptable.
well. And then I thought, it's possible. It's possible to manage. It's possible to run. But with time, we spent like 3.5 years without going to Brazil. So this was a very challenging part, I would say, in terms of family as well, family, friends,
Support.
and also my business. So I never imagined that I would hire someone without meeting this person, for example. And I had a few experiences hiring someone that didn't know me and was okay as well. So I had to learn how to deal with that as well. But it was hard because in parallel, I was keeping my business there and I was trying to get over all the challenges that we were facing here, me and my husband, Adriano. So to have my mind there and my mind here was really tough. So when we decided to go to Brazil in the end of last year, we needed to make a decision if we were keep going doing link talents, for example, and then I was going to work maybe part-time here or something that I could manage both business, both
Mhm.
careers. But then we decided that it was going to be like really hard, and then we decided to invest more time in our like time and attention in Australia. And then I found someone that bought the company, and this person is really passionate about the business as I was. So I felt like really happy with this because I trust that the company is going to keep going and keep
Going in good hands, on good hands.
yeah, so it made me feel like really happy with this decision. And now I can focus like 100% in Australia as well. And it was funny because when you make decisions and then things start to organize themselves.
Connecting, organizing around.
Yeah.
So, but the thing I can imagine also a challenge for you was the time zone, right? Because you had to have your day work here and then overnight working with your business in Brazil. So it's very demanding and very tiring too. How did you manage to run your business for so long, far away from home?
Yeah, how can I say? I had to change my position, my role in the business. So it was a great opportunity to learn as well, because when I was there, I was really into the business. I was working in the business. And then when I was here, I was working on the
On the
business.
business, yeah.
So it was good, but it was challenging. So I need to find someone to be the manager, to be the leader of the team. And my meetings were more with her. So we had like by the end, not the like I would say the last year or maybe the last 2 years, I was having like meetings every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I need to have more meetings. Sometimes I need to work on the system because I developed a system that I could be with them and I could see what's happening. So we have a system, a process to organize the information, the candidates, the clients. And it also made it easier for me to keep up in what was happening. But my focus was in a big picture. So I was focusing on the KPIs and keep them motivated and keep them
Together.
together and confident that they can do the job and they can. Because I believe if you have a good relationship with the team, with your team, they will do the job. They will make the client feel well cared as well. So sometimes the owner only takes care of the clients of the process and they forget the team, for example, it doesn't work. So I think it was one of the reasons with my focus on them, and I trust them and I train them and I develop their skills as well. So they could do the same with the clients, for example.
They could continue.
They
So,
found
in the time when I met you for the first time, I first met your husband when I was working for the Kaleidoscope Mentoring Program, and he applied to become a mentee, and you also applied, but I didn't know you were married because you have different surnames. So I had no clue that you guys were together. So I believe I interviewed him first, and then you came to see me in the interview, and I asked you, Leyla, what do you want? And I think it was one of the first bad experience that you have in Australia with someone was with me.
well, Cema, you were like, oh my God. I finished my meeting with you and I just sat in the floor and I started to cry because I thought, oh my God, I really don't know what I want. And she got me, how can I go there and turn this like so I was really unsure about what I was going to do next because I think I wanted to take the opportunity to changing countries and maybe changing careers because I was working with HR. I am working like for so long. And here I saw the opportunity, as everyone else, I think, like, oh, let's think maybe we can do something different. Maybe you can discover yourself in another thing. So at that point, my goal was to learn about the job market, to learn about the possibilities here. And then you said, look, if you want to keep working with HR, that's fine, I can help you. But if you don't want, I cannot help you at this stage with this project. So I said, okay. But I want to, because I was thinking the easiest, I think, way is to try to find something in my career, in my area. And then if I don't feel that it's the right moment or the right area, I can change later. And I also wanted to learn because the project that I was going to be part is a project to help people to get a job. And I was doing this like for a lot of years, so many years. So it was the opportunity to check if what I was teaching people I could really use in Australia, for example. So it was a very good opportunity for me. And it was because I didn't believe, oh my God, I didn't believe in so many things, Cema. And you just say, have you tried it? And have you searched? No, because there is no way, there is no job positions. And are you sure? Yeah. For example,
homework for you.
And then I searched like, okay, let's see if we have like an HR position to work part-time. And then I found at least 10, I think, at that point. And I, oh my God, I can work part-time. Because in Brazil, I have never had a position like to work part-time, even
Doesn't
HR.
exist these kind of things in Brazil, right?
Yeah. So I was with so many things in my mind based on my experience that I wanted to learn to see how it is here. But at first, we just think that is the same in a few things, and then we don't see different pathways, I think.
That's right.
To me.
And I'm glad you came. So you came together because I believe Adriana was also in the situation of, I want to change everything. Right?
Yeah.
Both of you. And then there was uncertainty in both ways. So you could not help each other, like just say, hey, now you have so much uncertainty. What can we do together? One at least had to be certain about something to make you feel more safe. But it was a situation that you guys went through together as well, right? And realizing that your skills that you brought are so rich, your experience, that you could go to any kind of jobs. Is that right?
Yeah, I think the most challenging part was our confidence, because communication was our strength in Brazil, in our career, in our job, in our life. We were very good communicators. And then here with English, or not. So we kind of lost our identity.
Identity,
and
yeah.
know what we could do if we were really good, like really good. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I was just in my bubble, in that country, in that city, that job, or anything. So I think our confidence, I think, was the first time in our lives that our confidence were just broken.
Yeah.
So it was the biggest challenge, I think, to believe in ourselves, to believe that we could communicate even with with no good bright English, as I can feel that my English is not good enough, or I can communicate, I know I can, but it's not the way that I wanted, so this is just something that keeps here in
But it's improving, right? A lot.
Yes.
A lot.
Yes.
So, but you see, as your skills, all the skills that you brought, you and Adriano, you have very strong skills, right, and experience. So, despite of the English was a roadblock for you guys, you invested to learn English, right? So, I remember, and I mentioned to you guys, this is an investment that is very important if you want to get jobs and if you want to go back to a career and you have a life that is fulfilling, that you can talk to people, that you can communicate and you can feeling here that you're part of this. You need to explore more your language and give the opportunity to learn.
Yeah. And it was our goal. Like when I speak to people, for example, my first job, thanks to the Kaleidoscope program and all the support that we got there, I got my job, like my first job in HR, in 1.5 years being in Australia. So I didn't realize this before I started organizing our conversation. So I thought, oh my God, 1.5 years. But this 1.5 years would like 3, 4, 10 years in our minds. Yes. So we get there. And you said a lot of times, like, this is not a problem. Don't make this like a problem. But for us, it still was. So even with this challenge, we got the job. And it was like a part-time job. And it was like in an HR company as well. So was a very good sign that I really could at least start something and start doing something and building my confidence. But I need to confess that, like, only now, I would say I'm not 100% confident, but the job that I'm doing now is the first time that I feel I can use my knowledge. I can share my knowledge, because sometimes it's not only about the English, but sometimes we have a situation, for example, and if it was in Brazil or in Portuguese, I would know how to do, how to deal with. And here I have the knowledge, I have the experience, but it's just goes away and I cannot use it. So it's really weird. I have been here, like, it was 1.5 the first job. Now we are almost 4, so more 2.5 years to say that I can use the knowledge that I have, and the
You feel confident to use your knowledge.
yeah,
So you feel more confident. Yeah. And okay, so you also were teaching in Brazil. And I remember when I invited you to come to have an experience as a facilitator. And you said, no, I cannot do it. So, of course you can. Of course you can. So, and then I remember you had your first session and I didn't say anything. And I came to to be there with you. And I said, what are you doing here?
Cema, you almost killed me, like, at least twice. You were making me realize that. Yeah, because I was like so ready, and then you were there, and now I'm not ready anymore.
But you did a great job with the project that you delivered for the ladies, right? You delivered how to prepare resume, how to go for an interview, and how to do job search. Is that right?
Yeah. So this was the second job I got in Australia, thanks to you. And again, so it was an amazing opportunity for me. And I think they had more facilitators. I think maybe 20 people. And we
together,
the best facilitators. So it was for me a very another thing saying you
validation.
Yeah, to improve, to increase my confidence. And it was amazing for me. Like, the first 30 minutes wasn't me again. I was just repeating and taking care of the words and everything I need to say. And I was just shaking inside. But after the break, I think 30 minutes, 1.5 minutes, I was just, oh my God, I cannot manage all of this. Let's forget the English and go for it. And then I remember I was relaxing and laughing, and people was like, they were with me. So it was a very, very, very good experience. But also myself, like, I don't know, something inside myself is saying that I need to be better, for example, and I think was a little bit more possible. I don't know how to say that. But they were also learning English.
Yes.
The group that I was working with. So I think it helped me, because they were helping me and helping them. And we were at the same boat, if I can say that. So I think it helped me a lot. I had a very, very, very big challenge, Cema, when I was in my previous job, that I need to train people. And it was a sales team. So it was very challenging, because I need to be excellent communicating, to talk with them, to teach them, to help them to go through the objections and everything they need to deal with clients. And at that point, I wasn't ready.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to have like a better English at this point to help them out.
To be able to perform that job.
Yeah. So one thing I think is really important, and you said this other times, like when we meet all the time, we need to understand exactly what we can do, when we can do, where we can do, so we can reach or target the things that are really compatible.
You are ready to do. If you go to something that is higher that you believe that you cannot do, you be able to do it, but you be charging you all the time. That is like, you need to be better, and it's so much pressure on you, right? And any job that we go to, even if in our own language, we have this pressure anyway. but not having the confidence with the language that is not your native language can bring more stress, right? So it's something that we learn as we go. And when I say to people, sales is something that you need to be very confident, even your own language, when you are working with. And we are all salespeople because we are part of a team. If you are the front row and selling things to others, you are the let's say the connection between the client and the company. You are the one that needs to be there ready to do, but everyone else behind scenes, they're also part of the sales because they need to prepare everything for the product or service to be sold. It needs to have a very high standard so you can sell it. So people normally, they don't believe they are sales people because they stay behind scenes. Now it's everyone working together. For someone going there as, hey, I am the shopping window for you and I can sell you right now, right? But behind the scenes also work. And how was for you realizing that was a wonderful job? I remember you said it was an amazing opportunity to work with a big company, and you got the job. And how was for you to realize that, yeah, I may have given myself a big stretch? Yeah.
Yeah, it was clear for me that I was doing that, but they found me on LinkedIn. I think I wouldn't apply for the job, so I was really surprised. I think they believed on me as you believed. Like I did a great job on LinkedIn because he found me. So he found me. I wasn't looking at that point because we were planning to go back to Brazil to travel to see our family. And he was like very, I don't know, I think he was sure that I could do the job because he also wasn't, English wasn't his first language, if I'm not wrong. So he was from Singapore.
So they found you on LinkedIn, and then that's so nice when people contact you and see that you have a value, right? That you can contribute with their organization. So how was the process?
So it was really good. He approached me on LinkedIn and he said that he was looking someone to work in the L&D team. It was a multinational company. He was
learning
and development consultant.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was looking for someone to work with on his team. He was from Singapore and he was looking for someone in Perth. So I was really excited with this opportunity because it was going to be the first time that I was going to work in a multinational. So it was a great opportunity to learn how it works. But then we realized that I wasn't like ready enough to deal with the training based on my English skill at this point. And I think they didn't have the time to give me, so it wasn't the right timing for them and right timing for me. They were like great with me and they were open to give me recommendations because the relationship that we built there was really good. And I also could check if what I used to do in my company, for example, it's done or not in an international level. So it was a really good opportunity to me to check. Yes, it's like us. It's like I do. But they were a very sales-driven company. And I used to think that I wasn't a salesperson. But I wasn't. I was. So it's just to see how you see things. So it was a very, very good opportunity for me to be there, to understand, to learn with them. And now the job that I'm doing right now, they also found me. I didn't apply as well. So
you are a golden girl then. What LinkedIn? Who taught you LinkedIn, girl?
And they were looking for someone to manage the office and the HR. So there, I will be doing learning and development as well, but it's not going to be like my only role. So, and they have the time. I think the pace of the company, the goals of the company is a little bit different. And then I was really honest. As I said before, it was the first time, the first company that I feel that I'm being myself and I can share my knowledge and I can help them to go through the people part of the business. And in my interview, for example, I was like with my notes. And okay, let's just talk about this. How about this? How about this? How about
Asking
this?
all the questions.
And I did all the questions. And it was really funny because when I said, okay, someone wants to ask something, and the guy that was interviewing myself, he looked at everyone, said, look, anyone has a question. And they said, no, for me it's okay. So yeah, for me, with her questions, she answered the questions I had. And okay.
You really, literally, you went there as a HR person to interview someone. And that's normally what I say to my mentees. When you go to an interview, put a hat on you as you are the one interviewing the company. And don't feel that you need to accept anything that you don't want or you're not looking for
Yeah.
because you have the desperation. Take the time to ask questions, to be the one leading the interview instead of giving all the power and being afraid of.
Yeah, so the challenge, I think, because it was the first time after the program, after so many meetings with you, like when I was helping people to get jobs, I was exactly as you, like saying, look, it's your life, it's your career. You need to understand if it's good for you as well. And now I could be on the other side, and see how hard it is when you want the job, when you need the money. So a lot of things are going on inside ourselves, my mind, body, and everything, expectations. So it's really hard when you like need to do that, you need to. I truly believe, and I agree with you. But it's so hard to do this when you are not feeling that, and you feel that you depend on them and depend on the job. So it's good to learn.
Practice, right? Getting the practice of doing it when you have opportunity.
Yeah.
So coming to Australia and realizing that you like the lifestyle, that is something that you wanted to stay, and seeing your business moving away, your baby moving away from you, and putting attention to be more in Australia and put your feet here and feel that you belong, that you can contribute. How much thought, how much energy or emotions were in this journey?
Oh my God, a lot. As I said before, I think it was the first time in our lives, because we are together like for 20 years as well. So we were growing together professionally, personally. So this is the first time that we faced so many challenges and we didn't believe in ourselves. So it's really hard when you are dealing with this kind of situations. We had a lot of times that we said, just let's go back. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why? So, and we had a lot of conversations about that. Thankfully, we are very open couple when we discuss everything. So, and I think we were lucky, or Perth was lucky. I don't know, because on that moment, and I say, look, I don't want this anymore. I don't need this anymore. I want my family. I want my friends. I want my company, my comfort zone. I just want a little bit of comfort. And he was saying, okay, we can go back. Just let's wait tomorrow, or let's wait for next week. If we are feeling the same still, we just go back. And then next day or next 2 days, I was no, I'm okay. I think we can go. I think we can go further.
Bringing the mood and their decision.
And then he was like that. Oh my God, no, today was terrible. I don't want this anymore. I just want to go back. And I was doing the other like role. Okay, we can go anytime. We have nothing like holding us here. We can go. Just let's wait one day or maybe 1 week. And then if we feel the same, we go. And then every time we were in different feelings and pathways, so we could encourage ourselves to keep here, because all the time we need to remind ourselves why were here and what we wanted from this experience. And with the time, we realized that we want to live here, like the safety that we have here, the access. He loves buying things and selling things. Having a very good.
He's a salesman. Why you want? He's a salesman.
Yeah, so these kind of things makes me feel like happy for him as well, because things that we have here we wouldn't have there. Like the car we are having here, we wouldn't buy because for us was very expensive. And it's not about having the money; it's about wanting to spend on that. So
Yeah.
here we feel like okay, investing in this kind of things that gives us like quality of life, and we learn how to deal with the family and with friends in distance. I would say it's not easy, it's not good. Sometimes we just I'm very sentimental here. I wasn't like that in Brazil because everyone used to say, Leyla, you don't cry. Why you don't cry? You were so like firm and strong, and but I didn't want to cry. I wasn't trying to hide anything. But here I'm so sensitive, and all the time, everything I was, oh my God, I don't know
Yeah,
why.
it's like you didn't recognize yourself for a time, right? Like, who is this woman?
Very, very hard moments here. I think I got like depressed and I need to build myself. We had a few particular things going on as well. So we had a very, very hard times, but together we could talk about this. We did therapy as well. So we also look for things to help us to recognize ourselves. And I think we spend a lot of time trying to bring the previous Leyla and Adriano to here, and
Not
they were,
anymore, right? Has changed. They have changed.
yeah, the values and things that I was like so sure, Sam. I was doing a lecture or a training on that, and I was so sure. And then a few moments here, I was, oh my God, what I said was crazy. What I was saying to people, this is not the best way or the only way or anything. I don't know. So it was like crazy. You feel just, I don't know anything. I shouldn't be talking to no one, and then you go very down, and then sometimes you go up.
Yeah.
It's really challenging. So if you don't have the support, and I need to say again, I said this before, but you were one of the most important person in our,
Oh,
because we need to have people that push ourselves, and put us in other phase or other point of view, because otherwise we wouldn't, I think, stay here. And sometimes we just meet people or be with people that are not in the same vibe, and sometimes we just go in their vibes. So
yeah.
it's really easy to lost your path. And even with English, I feel a lot of people come here to learn English, but then they start to get money, they start doing other things, and they just forget about English because other things are important. And depending on the people you have around, and depending on what you do, it's easy to get lost. And then you sometimes stay here for 5 years and you don't speak English, for example. So it's really easy to lost your path.
Absorb someone else and seeing the world through their lenses instead of your own, because it's a comfortable situation.
Yeah.
It's
So
having the responsibility to make the decisions, to say I went there. And you and Juliana are very what I admire, you guys are very well connected and staying together in this moment. So you went back to Brazil by the end of last year. And when you came back, you told me that you guys had sold the business, and you said, "Oh, it's the first time that I'm telling people here it's not announced yet. I need to wait to all the transition to the new owner." So, how was for you letting the business go while you did the transition? How was what was involved in there, the feelings and the realization or perception that you had?
yeah, as I was like very tired, as you said before, like to manage all the things, the first feeling that I had when I saw that was going to be safe, in good hands, and everything. My first night, for example, when I was in bed, it was like a space in my mind. Like, oh my God, I have a space there. It was weird because I didn't need to check my WhatsApp or check if was everything going on, if I need to take care of a client or a team member or someone. So the first thing that I thought was that I have space. Like I have space to do other things. I have space to dedicate myself to other things and to Australia and English, because even when I go to work, it's not a normal day because all the day was English information, new information, new business, new jobs, new tasks to do. So it's not only about a new job, it's a new job in English. So I used to be tired as well, even excited about the job, for example, tired. So now I can go home, take a shower, and go to bed. And just next day I will have like my commitment again. So it was good. And I couldn't see myself being an employee. And it's very funny because I always were very happy to have my business. Like I couldn't see myself in a process, in a system, in a company. I wanted to be free, and have my ideas and my process and my clients and decide everything. But I think with all these changes and I don't know, maybe the phase of the life that I am right now as well, I feel comfortable with this situation. I think for me right now, the best way is to be an entrepreneur inside the company, without the risks, maybe, without the endless possibility as well, financially speaking, but with the comfort. Right now, I don't know about the future, I don't know about next month, next year, but right now I feel comfortable. I think is the word, less challenge. And I was thinking, like, when we go to interviews, for example, we usually say, look, I love challenge. I want something. And then I realized I don't want a challenge.
Not now.
No, I had so many challenges like all my life. And here again, we are having challenges every day. So I just want a place that I can share. I can help. I want to help, but I don't want a challenge anymore.
Not for a while. You're not a person that leaves without challenge, Leyla. You like challenges. But
Yeah,
for now, you just like, let's keep this way.
I'm learning to live like each day, each month, because usually I plan everything. I need to have everything done in my mind and the plan. So I'm just learning how to not have all this energy, spend this energy planning, planning, planning. Sometimes I can just plan tomorrow and it's okay for now. So
I'm
I'm
learning.
how to deal with that.
So, Leyla, how was for you, a HR person, teaching others how to get jobs in Brazil and helping people to write resume, and then coming to Australia and facing that everything that you knew about writing a resume, applying for jobs didn't work for you?
Actually, Cema, it's another funny thing, I think, because it's almost the same, like the process, the way we keep the relationship with the market, how we introduce ourselves. I think the challenge is to sell myself because usually I was bought, I have like 15 years of the company. Everyone knew me, my family, my mom, my sister. So I didn't need to sell like for at least the last 10 years in my life. So here I need to start from scratch on this sense. Like I need to sell, I need to show them who I am. So I think this was like the most challenging part because for me it was the minimum. Like, no, the minimum, I did the minimum, it was the minimum. And he said, no, Leyla, you have a very good resume, you have a very good experience. No, it's not common. Not everyone has like this. So I need to learn that I was really different. And to sell this, I think was the most challenging part because the resume, the LinkedIn, a few things were different. Like in Brazil, we usually put the age, for example, and if we are married or not, or we put our address. So here they don't care about this. So, but it's not something that is going to make them not select my resume because I put my age, for example. So it's a little bit different, but it's not something that is going to block my next step with the recruitment process. So on this way was a very good experience because I could put in practice the kind of tips and advice that I used to give. but it was really good to understand that was similar. For example, if I didn't do the workshop, for example, the training, I wouldn't know that. And then my confidence would be low again. And
Because we
maybe
didn't
I wouldn't
know,
be myself.
we would not know what it was about, right?
Yeah, so help me to sell myself, to organize the ideas, for example, how to show that I knew or that I did some things with examples and bring things to the interview, for example. It was, I think, the most challenging part for me. Yeah, I think it was this, but the advices that I gave, I'm happy because it's pretty similar what they are looking for, like about the behavior and
Yeah. No, it normally is because the process of recruiting, let's say, is not 100% the same everywhere. Now, with the globalization, things can be a little bit more similar. But let's think about in Brazil, as I'm from to. My resume, when I came to Australia, I had 15 pages. It's something that very common in my field as a medical researcher to have everything there to show that you have done, right? Yeah. Coming to Australia and making a resume with 2 pages with the whole history of your employment and experience was a bit weird. And for many newcomers, it's difficult for them to accept that they need to let it go some of the information that is not necessary to be there. And it's how come I have done this? I have done a PhD. I need to show everyone, right? So in Brazil, even you have a typical resume that everyone working in universities, in hospitals, they have, because it's very typical to have 20, 30 page, 50-page resume. You show everything, but not here.
Yeah, but it's not actually, Cema. Usually, when someone comes to Australia and they don't know how to build their resumes here, if we analyze their resume in Brazil, wasn't right as well. You know, people usually don't know how to present themselves, and they don't know that they need to use 1 or 2 pages, for example, because in Brazil it's the same. You need to short everything.
Now, when I was living there, was not this way, Leyla.
Yeah, but like I'm working with this, like LinkedIn, for example. I have LinkedIn since 2010. 2010, and someone now is talking about LinkedIn and how it works. So I was working with, my job was different because Link Talents was different. We were very ahead in our time, and I would say very connected with everything that was happening. But most of the people didn't know. So they came to Brazil, they came to Australia from Brazil, thinking that is the same, but in Brazil was wrong as well, but they didn't know that. So they think was okay, because this was my discussion with them as well. Like, okay, what did you do? And when you go to universities in your field, it's kind of different. We have the Lattes, for example, the website, and there you just need to put everything. But this is not the resume. So when you are applying for a resume, if you can give them the Lattes link, that's fine, but it's not their resume. So it's
well, 25 years ago was something, right? Just passed and I am off.
How do you know that? Like when I was working here, like for 2 years, let's say, I did a workshop with resumes in Brazil with my team, with the company. And then I was checking with my team, guys, this is true like that? And they say, yeah, Leyla. Yeah, because I'm telling this is true like that. So we don't know. If you were here, we don't know how it is there. And if you are
very
there,
specific.
we don't know how it is here. But with time, I would say last 5 years, maybe 10 years, it's like that, and we are evolving all the time.
So, and how many times did you apply for jobs? Officially, like people found you, but how many times you applied and how many times did you get an interview after the application?
A lot, Cema, because I realized
a lot, Leyla.
I applied a lot because I love doing that. I was just
enjoying
in my sofa and going through LinkedIn, going to Seek, and oh my God, let's just apply. So I did it a lot, but when I did it, like, because, when I did with like purpose, it was easy to get the interview. I got a few interviews. Like my first interview, first, before I got the job, like when I was here 1.5 years, the first application I did in HR, they called me for the interview. So it was like, oh my God, it was a part-time job, Cema. Yes, it was a part-time job. I didn't believe on that. And then I went there. So it was a very nice interview and very informal. But in Brazil, we also have informal interviews. They are changing, like for the last 10 years, 5 years. So it was very similar, but I wasn't ready with the knowledge about the employment law mainly.
Yeah.
So he had like 3 interviews and I was one of them. But I think he didn't realize I was in Australia for so short period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had interviews like, oh my God, I had interviews. Someone I was sending an email just to understand about my qualification because I needed to check if it was okay or if I need to do another qualification. It was a training company. And then I sent her an email just to understand, and she invited me, oh yeah, let's have a coffee. And I thought, oh my God, she's going to have a coffee with me just to help me to understand if my qualification was okay or not. And in the middle of the meeting, she said, yeah, and what about work? You work here like just casually because I have this, I need someone like this. And oh my God, I got a job like talking about my qualification. So one thing, and I got another, like someone else found me on LinkedIn. He was a director at the university because he was looking for someone to be a facilitator, I think, in a project that he was getting money, organizing to get the money from the government and then apply the project. And he also found me to have a chat and discuss. And I was working with him. I'm still working with him in a volunteer project to organize events to HR. So again, it was very similar to ABRH, is a HR association in Brazil. So how to organize the events and calling everything there. So it was okay as well. Another interview, I would say. I applied a lot actually, but I also got a lot of interviews and I got a lot of job offers because I think it was really good. And HR here is on demand as well. It's really hard to find a very experienced HR professional, I think, as far as I can see. As it is in Brazil right now, recruiters, for example, it's like very high demand. So I think it would be helpful in this way because I'm not from IT. So if you get a message and you are in IT, okay, it's totally normal because they are crazy about them. But HR is not so normal, but even is in high demand. And I also did a thing, like I wanted to work part-time. So I was trying to find a job that wasn't with the big responsibility. So I applied to work as a receptionist, for example. And then I did a box and delivered to the owner, like showing him how I could help the company. And I put a lot of things in a letter and everything. I want to show you that I can help you. So I got, of course, this interview as well. So I went there, but the interview went really bad on my side because I couldn't understand all the questions. It was before I applied for HR, for example. So I had a few opportunities, a few interviews, I would say.
That's good. So you put in practice what you learned and went to let's say look around what the possibilities for you, right? So and coming back to the migration journey that you decided to come to Australia just to study, and then I realized that it was a nice place to live and when I stayed. How much plan? You are a person that loves planning. How much did you guys plan your trip to Australia? And how was for you to realize that the plan had to be extended?
Yeah, I think like the idea of living abroad was like a very long time in my mind. But when we start the business, when we got married, so I thought, I think it's not going to happen in this life, maybe the next one. But then we met a friend that was like also had a business in Brazil and had a family, 4 people like him and his wife and 2 kids, and he just moved to Canada. So this thing, I think, was the first thing in Adriano's mind that maybe, because for him, if we go out like for another country, is because it's not working in our country, and then we need to work with things and start from scratch and do anything else to get money and to. So he was happy with the life, and he thought, why would I go to another country? So this is the concept he had in his mind. So when we met my friend, he starts to change this in his mind. So he was open to maybe discuss the idea of going out without being broken or running away from something. And then we decided that we needed to organize, like to pay everything. We didn't want to have anything on the credit card, for example, or the apartment that we were paying as well. So I would say it took like 3 years to organize the finances and make sure that we would have at least 1 year of time. Meaning I would like we were ready to not work for 1 year is the best answer, I think. And we took like at least 3 years to organize this trip, but we were always very organizing our finances. So I think maybe if you decide and then you need to organize everything in 3 years, maybe it's not enough time, depending on how much money you need to have to feel like safer or secure in the country. But we took, I think, at least 3 years to organize our finances. But then we didn't, but then I was still working from Brazil. So even though we planned not to work in 1 year, my business was like going really well. So we did money and we were less worried about this, I would say.
So, and after selling the business and here in Australia, do you feel that you belong to Australia?
Sorry, what did you say?
Do you feel that you belong to Australia after selling your business and putting your feet here and working in your field, feeling more comfortable doing what you are doing and contributing?
Interesting, because my goal was to learn English to be free. Like I want to talk to everyone. I want to read everything. I don't want to depend on people. So I really believe I belong to the world. For me, it doesn't matter if it's in Perth or if it's in Canada or if it's maybe New York, I don't know. I'm really open because after the 6 months here, we just like, oh my God, we could. Or 1 year, oh my God, we can speak, we can communicate. So I am feeling that I'm free. But Adriano feels like that. He needs to feel like he belongs somewhere. So we went to Brazil, and for him, I think it was really important to go back to see the city, Blumenau, or even his city. And he said, no, I'm not here anymore. I cannot see myself. We couldn't see ourselves both, but he's feeling home here, and I am feeling that I am like free.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, but I want to be here right now. I want to be here. We are thinking about buying a house maybe in the future. We want to be here, but I don't feel that I need to feel like that is my home. But I feel very well here with the network that we have, with the jobs that we have right now. It's everything like today. It's everything amazing. I don't know tomorrow because
you are enjoying what you have.
That we are enjoying. Yeah.
Good. It's like keeping moving forward, right? So things getting better and better. So, Leyla, if you had to look back for all your journey migrating to Australia and all your career and experiences, would you do anything different that you did before during your transition?
I think to make it easier, I would study more English before I arrive here. And it was Adriano's idea as well. He was, look, I don't know anything about English. I want to learn, like the 3 years, for example. I want to learn English. And I said, no, don't worry, just get there, and then we can study because it's going to be full time, it's going to be an intensive, and he started like, I think 1 year before we arrived here. And I think if we would spend like more time in English, I think would be easier for us because it was the main thing for us. It was the language. But other than that, I would maybe arrived earlier. Like, don't wait so much to achieve this dream and to have this kind of conversation, and just come. But I am also happy with this. Like, I'm okay. I think the English would make it easier.
Okay. So if you had to give an advice for someone who is in Australia, a newcomer like you guys, and she was struggling to find their feet in this land, to get their career back, what advice would you give to these newcomers?
Talk to Cema. Find her. Yeah, and this is really true. You need to find someone to help you, because sometimes you just need someone to push you, to make you cry.
So you right realize.
Maybe realize, like, someone to show that you're really important and you have values and you have things to contribute. So sometimes we don't believe on that, and we need to have people. And you have a lot of techniques, and you have studied a lot to guide people. So I think we need to have. They can find anyone, but I would recommend you.
Yeah.
Believe in your job, and I think you really can help people to understand. It's not only about the resume, Sam. It's not only about how to prepare for an interview. You need to understand more about you and be open to be different, be open to create a new person here, and understand your weakness, understand your strengths, and then get all that. So yeah, would be my advice. And they can do this before arrive here. They don't need to arrive here and then try to find something. So I would get this kind of support
beforehand. Yeah, thank you. I agree with you. When I came here, I believe because I was very curious to know how things work everywhere, I contact people before I come. And even though it was not very easy because I had so many things happening in my life, but I could at least go back to my career very quickly. I didn't spend any day away from my career. And I came to Australia. I was always in my career. But because I had the idea of where I will find support and get support from people. But it was a very lonely experience too, because you don't have anyone to talk to ask questions that knew about your career. That time I didn't know many people that would speak my own language. So I had to reinvent myself to be able to be here where I was at that point. So, and for someone who is outside of Australia and have the dream of coming to Australia, you said English would be something that you do earlier. Is there any other advice besides English that you would give to people that want to come as couples?
Yeah,
you guys did.
You need to be sure what you are really looking for here. Otherwise, it's easy to get lost. So we wanted to have the experience. We wanted to discover ourselves in another situation. And we started to enjoy Australia, but it wasn't the plan initially to stay here. So even though we kept going, so if you know exactly what you're looking for and the benefits that you are going to have, because for me, to speak English like fluently was the benefit. It was really clear for me. So I think when you have a clear goal, it's easier to keep you on track and to understand if you really want that. And if you need to come to Australia to get that, sometimes you can get this in other places, in other situations on your country, for example. So I think it's more about the goal. And if you have someone that really believes with you, and we need to be open. I I see so many people just coming here and getting lost, as well, we get lost. But they don't have the support with themselves. Like I cannot talk with my husband about money, for example. Sometimes it's not possible. Like it's hard when you have someone, the only one that is getting money, for example, and you cannot talk about money. It's like, is their money or is my money or our money? So I think we need to talk about this, like how it's going to be if someone is working and someone is studying, or someone is only studying and the other one cannot work because don't know how to speak English, for example. So I would say discuss a lot about the possibilities, the things that can be wrong, and how would you manage this? When I am, for example, like really homesick, how would you manage this? If someone wants to stay and someone wants to leave, what you are going to do? So I would discuss these kind of things just to avoid, because some couples come to Australia and they, I don't know, some people just get together, is stronger, the relationship like just is stronger, and some people just realize that they don't fit together anymore because of the everything that is happening. So this is something that can happen, but I don't know. I really don't know, Cema.
So it's a big surprise when you come and you are not prepared, because you face things that probably you never face this kind of things if you're back home, because you have a big support there, right? So when you come only as a couple or as a family, initially just you guys there, and it's a lot of pressure from many sides. If you don't know how to solve that situation in family, would be hard, because there's nobody else that can help there in terms of resolution for the family. Right. And some people come and say, could you give us a suggestion? Well, suggestion, yes, but it's not decision. Your decision is yours. I can show you the possibilities, and it's your decision. What do you want to do with that? So the information is here. So sometimes people, for the comfort to not like getting someone to decide for them about something, it's hard. It's painful, because you want someone to support you there and helping you to decide. But I believe the way we can help is giving the right information, and the person has the possibility, the empowerment of making their own decision, because it's their responsibilities, and the consequences, good or bad, it's on them.
Right? And you need to search as well. Adriano was saying that if it wasn't me, probably he wouldn't find the program. He wouldn't apply online. He wouldn't. And I am a seeker, I think, because if I want to know something, I will really search about that. So usually, as we said before, when you have someone on your like community or your group, you just stay there and you take one opinion as the truth. And sometimes, a lot of times, it's not the truth. It's just their truth. So you can go ahead and find more information and look for something. And when we came here, we also didn't have like you were one of the people who gave us advice to keep working in our career. But everyone else was saying, no, you need to work as a cleaner. You don't have the same thing here. You were new here. No. You need to be cleaner. You need to work in hospitality. Are you open to do everything that needed to? So the pressure is really big to do that. And that's fine if you want, go for it. But if you don't want, you don't have to. You can work other ways, like how can I get on my field? And sometimes I don't know if the people are tired of their fields or only tired of their lives, because we were tired as well. We also thought maybe we could do something different, but we love what we do. And we just needed the time to realize that we love what we do. And if you go and you do like cleaner or hospitality, and you keep doing this like for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, sometimes you are just doing because of the money, not because you really like doing that, but you are so afraid to try another thing, or so afraid to give your face, like, let's try, but what I know, maybe I don't know anything. Yeah, the feeling is exactly the same. I thought the same. I thought I didn't know anything. I thought all my knowledge was there. So we need a lot of encouragement and incentive to keep on track if we really want to do that. So I really believe if you want to do. But if you don't want to do, if you feel it's not right for you, you can find other ways, and you don't need to have to accept the pressure to do everything, to do anything, because
everybody else does, because it's the truth. It's not the truth. Yeah. So, and also, it's on interesting before we finish this is regarding you got jobs, you guys, even having a student visa, and you got jobs in your field, being able to work only part-time.
Yes. So it is, as you said, it's possible. And Adriano almost got a sponsorship through the program. So the mentor you gave him was the right person. They were so alike. I would say that they could look. We can maybe work together. We can find a way to help you this, and I help you there. So it was amazing, because we wouldn't be able to work on that, but the time passed, and now we get another visa, but it's really similar. But the opportunity was there, and it was someone from the group, from the Kaleidoscope, from the network that we build here. So this is really important. And sometimes we think it's so far away. No, I cannot get there. There is a way. So if you know the people, if you increase your networking, and if you build your base of people and professionals, so if you want to work in this area, just go for it, as you do with the mentorship. For example, you can find someone to mentor you in the same area, for example. And sometimes you can find on LinkedIn. You can do this by yourself. But you need to go, because it's a very, I don't know, it's not so common when the things just fell on your plate, I would say. It's not common, but if you do a good work, it will fail. It's funny because it's contradictory.
Yeah, no, I always say when people come to me, they put all their roadblocks, the visa, my English. I said, you can, is how much you are interested in investing to be there, right? Yeah. So if you want to get shallow and just do what everyone else does because you believe that it's not possible, I cannot help you. It's your belief. But if you believe that it's possible to do, I'll be there for you, helping you. So the question is, we can. Anything is the investment that we do, the time, the emotions, sometimes the financial side that you need to invest to. So, but it's believing that it's possible. And let's do it, right?
This is the point, is to believe on that. And this is the same in Brazil. It's exactly the same. If you want to work in your field in Brazil, you need to do the same investment, time or money or networking. What do you need to do? So in these things, I also believe that it's pretty similar. So we just put barriers, and we just hide ourselves because we are so afraid of getting no's, I think, of
the failure and the frustration. I normally say the frustration is very, the amount of frustration that you get is proportional for the work that you do on yourself, right? So if you want to just get more frustration, apply for all the jobs, and you'll be frustrated. But if you invest in learning how to do it, you apply for the jobs that you have more chances.
Yeah.
Right. So Leyla, as you are from south of Brazil, from Blumenau, so you are the two sides. So you like German food, the pork knuckle, or you like the barbecue? Which one is your preference? What's your favorite dish in Brazil?
I'm so lucky, Cema, because I I brought my cook.
You brought your VIP chef.
Yeah, so I'm very lucky because the things I really like, I can do, or maybe he can do for us. So it's amazing. And I think I prefer Italian food, to be honest.
Because your hubby is Italian descendant, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think the Italian one is my preferred. In here, we can find a lot of Italian foods, but I like the desserts, the German desserts, but it's not the German ones. I learned that it's the Brazilian German desserts.
Cuca?
Quite different, yeah. Hookah, or even the cakes. Here, the cakes are very different from us. I think our cake is more like sweet. We like milk, condensed milk, and these kind of things.
Cream, really.
Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here I cannot find like the things that I really like at this point, but I love sushi as well. We have found a restaurant that is really similar to what we had in Brazil. So it's good when we are homesick, we just go there to eat the comfort food. But we also found a restaurant, an Italian restaurant, very close to our house, and we just love to go there. So we are discovering now that we are open, and as we were discussing the other day, like now we are open to spend a little more money on that experience. So we are finding more opportunities because before we were just so controlled and then we couldn't experience and then we would miss a lot.
A lot.
Okay, because Adriano just make the best dishes in the world. He's like this with you because you are very good as well.
I love having my cooks with him, like when we do forehand cooking. It's so nice. So, Leyla, thank you very much for coming and sharing your journey, sharing your experiences and your perceptions also, especially being a HR professional and seeing the similarities, the differences, and how people can find themselves in Australia. So thank you very much for your participation in the Life Career Roadmap.
Thank you, Cema. Thank you for everything.
Thank you too. So thank you very much, and remember to subscribe for the channel to get the news when we have new videos. So see you soon. Bye-bye.